so in love with you. You got me down again. Hold up. I'm so in love with you. You got me down again.
What is up, and welcome back to yet another episode. Looks like I'm a bit hot, so what's up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Camera Junkie live stream. My name's Luis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. All right, let me put this to the side. Back. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name's Luis. Please be sure to introduce yourself into the chat so you can get the nice Camera Junkie crew welcome. And as tradition goes around here, seems like the music still's a bit high as well. That should be better there, right? And as tradition goes around here, the first thing that we do is to go ahead and see who are the first junkies to make it into the chat. So let's go ahead and do that. Bring this over here. Move that. You know what? Why is I gotta fix this? Why is my head cut off? But we'll fix that as soon as we're done over here. First person in the house, we have Parker Jennings in the house saying hello to everyone. What's up? Welcome, welcome. We also have Mr. Moderator saying hello to the fam. He's also saying hi to Parker. We have Gretchen right behind saying what's up to the crew, to me, and to Aiden. Aiden, Gretchen says hi. And Paul saying hi to Gretchen. And there we go. All right. So we're going to get started. You know, first thing I'm going to do is fix my cropped in head here. Oh, I think I know what I did. I have to unlock my scene in Ecamm first. And now I'll be able to manipulate this. But what am I going to do? I'm going to drop it down. Then I should hit the option and uncropify it from the top, right? Then we'll crop it from the bottom, and that's a much better look. And then we'll bring this back to the top, center it, and lock the scene once again. So now when we move from this scene to this scene, yeah, that looks a lot better. And when I bring up a comment like so, see, still under my beard. So we're doing good. Perfect. All right. And I'll take this time to remember to hit the like button if you haven't done so already, because I tend to forget to ask for that. All right. So we got Gretchen's comments there. Ooh, it's different sized. You know what? Let's adjust that as well. Boom. Perfect. All right. Now, B-Cam in the house. All right. It looks like we're ready to rock and roll. So what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about my new lights, the missing piece. And a lot of you have been with me through this journey. So I'm going to give you a bit of a behind the scenes look. Hopefully we're there. Perfect. So I'm taking you behind the scenes of what I got going on here. And there's going to be a piece that's still there, which is representative of all of the trials and tribulations that I've had trying to get the lighting correct here. and it's all being fixed with this light tube right here that's just working perfectly. Now I'm just gonna pull it off because it's magnetic, so that we can reverse the light, and you can see, look, it's even too bright for that. But we can see exactly what I had going on there. I had a plethora of different things. Actually, I got one of them underneath here to show you. Right, this was kind of like the main light that I had going on here. So I had this hanging from here, pointed towards this, like inside of a beauty dish reflector, and then have that bounce off and be the fill light. And now this Ulanzi light here, the UA12, I forgot exactly how long it is as far as the size, but it's perfect. You know what, I got a tape measure. So why try to look it up online when I could just measure it? So I would say 23 inches, maybe 24, you know, with the little tab. But a 23-inch tube light that I'm going to get into, because it's just, I think it's like such an ingenious design. And it's been on the market for a little bit, and I've seen it, but I was like, do I really have a use case scenario for it? And it's turned out to be the ideal thing for this setup. First of all, it has magnets on the back so that you can pretty much stick it to anything, magnetic. And my entire setup, as you can see, is metal, and I got magnets everywhere. So it's ideal for the way that I have it set up. But it also comes with its own mounting bracket, which I have here. And just to show you these two little dots, those are the magnets that correspond to these two magnets right here on the back of the light. So I'll just be able to just take those and kind of line them up, and bam, it holds up the entire light. What's amazing is that it's an air tube, so it's not heavy, which makes it ideal for carrying it around and transportation. And it encompasses so many of like the traditional, like, I guess, videography hacks, things that we've told you, like, hey, if you're on a budget, use this. And they've kind of taken all of those things and implemented them all in one shot. So what do I mean? It's as if the front part, right, what actually diffuses the light is shower curtain material. You know, that's what it feels like, and it's got that same type of diffusion. And that's why I find this so interesting, because it's something that we've said, hey, you know, go grab a light from Home Depot and a shower curtain from the dollar store, and throw that curtain in front of that light, and it'll diffuse it so it's not harsh. And now you have your first official, like, working video light for your, you know, for your production or for your YouTube videos. And we've been telling people that for years, you know, like as a DIY hack. And Ulanzi comes around and goes, here, hold my beer, right? And takes that material and then wraps it up into an inflatable tube. And then they take a strip light of LEDs and throw it on the inside to give it the perfect amount of space. And now it's a space saving, like, super convenient. It is like a creator light. Like, if you're a content creator, this might be ideal. And I'm gonna get to another reason why. It's super compact and portable. So on top of that, it's filled with air, so it's super light. You can just kind of rig it anywhere. Like, you can throw this light on top of a camera, and you're gonna get amazing footage even at night, and it doesn't weigh about anything. Like, it won't be cumbersome. So what do I mean? Like if I were to put this on in addition to like my video rig, my 10-pound FX30 camera rig, that's not really going to add a substantial amount of weight that's going to make a difference for me. Yet it will make all the difference in the world when it comes to lighting, you know, in a dark environment. So I'm super, super impressed. And I'm kind of like, excuse me, Let me know what you guys are drinking in chat. Today I went away from the green monster and I'm doing the coffee monster. I'm trying to switch it up. So, like I said, it's almost ideal as far as the content creator light, because there's so many things that you can do with it, because you don't have to inflate it all the way. So let me go to the overhead. Oh, got it blocked. Let me take those caps off of that. And let's go to it. All right, so I'm pulling this off and it makes a huge difference. You can see how much darker it gets, but let's go to the overhead here. Now, this is the light. Let me go ahead and dim it down. This is 1%, right? And it's still kind of overexposed for the overhead. Oops. All right, let me be able to see that. So, okay, what do I mean? It's kind of an inflatable light, kind of like like I said, like the pool floaties, right? But it's got the most sophisticated kind of like nozzle that you could imagine. Like, they really took the time in making this robust, especially when they knew that this was going to be used over and over again, meaning it was going to be inflated and deflated over and over and over again. So it's got a really cool system, but that's what allows this to be kind of like very flexible. So I'm gonna just press the button and deflate it slightly, right? And this is just, let's just say, about halfway, meaning I still have some air in it, so it's still a bit rigid. But what it does is that it allows you now to like curve it, and now you have the ability to use a simple light like this, right? Maybe an additional light like the other Ulanzi light, because apparently that's what we're talking about today, Ulanzi setup. And now you have an entire light box that you can use for video, for like product photography. That's what I was gonna say, for product photography. So you can take anything, right? You say like, hey, I got a little mini camera that I want to take a photo and make it macro. You can throw it in there, and now you have that lit up from every direction, because you kind of just deflated this light bubble or whatever. It's just so convenient. I'm just like super like amazed with this, because there's so many options. So, right, that's one way that you can do it. But then if we just deflate it completely, and let me go ahead and turn it off, right? If we just deflate it completely, now we're going into like package, right? Like, we're gonna just pack this away. This becomes super convenient because it just folds up into like nothingness, right? And this still has a little air in it. Hold on. By folding it, it allows you to take the rest of the air out. And that's where you can see exactly what's going on. It's basically a battery pack, right? And the strip of LEDs just runs right along the backside. It's a genius idea because it's so convenient. And then it comes with its little travel pouch. So that's it. This fits anywhere in your suitcase or even in your camera bag, right? Just about anywhere. And now, like, you can get 2 or 3 of these, and this is like an amazing light grid. You could almost do kind of like a ring light, you know, if that's a style of video light that you want to get, if you're a makeup content creator. So many options that you have with these lights. And now for me, it's just become ideal because I've always been trying to find a way to fill this area here, right? And I've been trying to get this light out, but nothing has been able to suffice. And now I'm going to show you how easy it is. It's lagging this camera, but right, I'm just going to go ahead and with one good breath, I'm going to fill this puppy up and we're going to be ready to rock and roll in no time. Bam. Now I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. And something that they built into this light that I hope Ulanzi puts on all of their future lights is the real-time, like real-time output information. What do I mean about this? Let me go ahead and go back to the overhead. So I'm going to try to demonstrate this while it's on as best as I can. Let me see if I can get it there to focus. Covering my face on the bottom. Let me see. Let me just try to see if I could better explain it, because I don't think it's gonna get a good enough image. In this little information LED, right? It gives me all the information. It's telling me my battery life, which is at 100%. It's telling me the voltage at 8.31, and it's got a 24-hour symbol on the upper right hand corner over here. What that does is it's telling me that in the off position, the battery is ready for 100%. Like 24 hours. But as soon as we click it to 1%, it will automatically adjust in real time and letting me know that the amount of voltage or power that I have left in the battery at 100% using this light at just 1% will give me 21 hours and 37 minutes. So it's giving me a real-time readout of its power usage at all times, which is something that I just, like I said, I would love this on all of the other lights moving forward. Ulanzi, if you're hearing me, please do this on all the lights. This is just the best. Like, just, I guess for a control freak, it just gives me all the information. So now I'm just going to crank this up to the way I had it. I just had it at 7%, and it's giving me in real time the information. So it's telling me, hey, we're at 100% battery, but at 7%, you're going to get 12 hours of output at this percentage, which is basically all day. All day output for my fill light is amazing. So it's giving me all this information. And of course, we have, you know, like, control from, I believe, 27K, so we can get nice and warm light all the way to 62 or 6400, 65, which is a little bit whiter or cooler than what I want. I want to rock around 62 or 6000, 6K, right? And now that's the light that matches here perfectly with the rest of my lights. And go back to my match my little magnets here. Bam. And now that sits there perfectly. It's not even a strain on my desk because it is so light, and the amount of light that I'm getting here that's filling in is just perfect, which is also ideal for the way that I have it set up. Because going back to it, I have my entire teleprompter. I even have my little OBSBot, camera, everything rigged up onto this cheese plate that's hung off of the back, and it's all on this like ball head. So I have the ability to like untighten, so to speak, and loosen, and now move this. And now you guys can see what I see in my teleprompter, right? But that gives me the ability to move the perspective. So if I go back to my main shot here, I have now the ability to move, right, from one side to side, kind of square up the shot, give it a little bit of different perspective. And my light doesn't have to be exactly positioned because I'm not within the beam of the light that I had previously. Now this light fills up the entire area, allowing me to switch things up, but I'm still getting the proper lighting on all three sides. My 3-point lighting is fixed. This has been the missing piece of the puzzle that I've had in my setup, and I didn't even know it. So I'm super excited, because now this is just something that will never change. This is a forever piece, and I didn't even realize it, but slowly but surely I've been adding and implementing all of these pieces from this one particular brand, Ulanzi, and now my entire setup is on it. So let me get the model number of this one real quick. I think it's the LT. It's a LT series. This is the LT028. So this is the 40 watt as my overhead, right? That's my hair light. I have a 60 watt as my main light, and now I have a little 12 watt running at 7% as my fill light, and it's all Ulanzi brand and fairly inexpensive. This was $100. That one was 80, and this one came out to $40 on sale right now. I did put the link in the description if you guys are interested, and I also put the link to the one that's bigger because it's just a longer tube light. Now it's just a tube light as well, so even if you wanted to use these for ambiance, it's ideal. So with this setup, you can see my door, and the door is made of metal. So on the back, on top of these two main magnets, you have another one up here so that you can give it like its stability, so that even if you wanted to, it won't lose rigidity. And you can just take it to the back and just throw it on anything metal. And now you gave it an RGB effect almost, because you threw it into the, into the warm light regions in the 2700K. And that's something that you can do with this light. Is just really cool. That I'm definitely picking up another one because it's just too convenient. This one's gonna sit here, and probably the other one's gonna live in my camera bag when I go to do events and go on the road. I might not even be taking my smaller, 40 watt, because this just might be more convenient. Like when it comes to it, like for travel, two of those lights is just gonna, like, I just I haven't done it yet, but I already know that it's gonna just work out better than me running around with this and some diffusers, and it's just way more compact, just 100 times over, way more compact. So that's gonna be 100 times more convenient to run on the road. And one's gonna live in my bag just in case, and the other one's gonna live here. And then when I go on the road, it's as simple as just detaching those magnets and taking it with me. This is just like super, super convenient. And like I just said, I'm kind of just knocking on myself right now, like beating myself up a bit, because I should have looked into these lights a long time ago. But hey, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So I didn't get around to it when they came out, but I'm super happy that they're in my possession now, and I just can't wait. Let me go ahead and. All right, let's throw that back on there. It's just so convenient, and it's gonna be official. We're gonna do it together. You know what? I'm gonna take off this plate that's lived here for years. Officially see the back of my wall again. Hey, you did me very well for many years. That's gonna be a little bit more different, a little bit more difficult. I'll take that off after the stream, but it's official. That was like the missing piece, to my puzzle as far as my setup goes, and now I'm just like ecstatic with it. Let's go back to the chat to see what you guys are talking about. Let's move this back over here. Okay. Whoa, okay. We got Randy coming in. He's saying hello to everyone. Yes, thank you, Paul. I did put those in there. I'm getting better with that. Links are in the description. Hey, what's up, Jeremy? Saying what's up, fellow MCJ peeps? How you doing tonight? Gretchen answered my question. She says she's drinking wine. Nice. Oh, that's a good question. Can you control it from the app? I don't know, because I actually don't own the Ulanzi app, because my other Ulanzi lights, these two do not have Bluetooth capability. So I've never had a need for it. For that reason, I'll have to look into it. Let's see. Let's see if it has a... Doesn't look like it right off the bat. It doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't, but I don't see any Bluetooth emblems or markings on the back, you know, by where the product information is right over here. So, yep, I don't see anything. And the real cool thing about it is, like, if I were to plug it into, you know, USB power, which is something that I'm gonna do eventually, I'm gonna trickle charge it here on the set. It literally tells you 24 hours of light. It just tells you like you're plugged in. You don't have to worry about charge, and it's just like smart for that aspect. It's just loving that light. I'm just super cool. Excuse me. Question says, or Jeremy says, the real question is, can Ulanzi inflatable make balloon sounds that fly over a place? Let the air out. What? What? Real question, can Ulanzi inflatable make balloon sounds and fly over the place when you let the air out? No, it doesn't do that. Nothing cartoon style. Slides in the house says, love it. Thanks to my kind tech. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. Likewise, it was a lot of fun hanging out on Tuesday and helping you with your live stream. That was super cool. JP is in the house, says, how's it going, Luis? It's going good, brother. I'm having a lot of fun here and loving my new light. I got it a couple of days ago, and just even been having fun with Aiden. I told Gretchen earlier today, I've even been like just bopping Aiden with in the head with it, playing like it's like you know, a playful lightsaber, and just busting him up with this light. It's just been everything on top of fixing all of this. Also, just having fun with it with my son. Just said I've definitely been interested in those lights. Yo, I think JP, you let me know, right? The advertisements that I seen for the light have been like a bit cheesy, right? Like I seen a guy like come out and he looked like a mech warrior and he had like lights coming out from everywhere, and I was like, way overkill. But I see the purpose, because that thing couldn't have weighed more than like a couple of pounds, so to speak. Like he was just walking around just like lighting up his entire environment. Of course it's overkill, but it is something that is feasible, because adding this to like a camera rig, just shooting it straight up is gonna give you amazing light. Because look, let's put it to the test. This is at 7%. But a cool thing that it has is that if you hit the power button, it jumps in 25% intervals. So you can see exactly how bright it can get. So the first one, that's 25%. If we're just looking at the background, right? 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%. Like, that is crazy bright. Crazy bright. So now throw this that weighs nothing on top of a camera rig at night, just straight up like this. It's amazing lighting for, you know, run and gun videography. It's super cool, and that's what I'm telling you. Like, adding this to your rig for what you're gonna get out of it as far as light output, like, oh, just super cool. And here, you know what? Let me show you exactly. Let me go ahead and throw the 7% back on here, right? I'm going to go to my overhead shot, right? This is the overhead. I can stick it directly on top here, facing down, and it just like lights up this entire area. Like, so whenever I'm doing overhead shots, now that can go there. The reason why I did that is to see if I can disconnect this. Yeah. It's magnet, so it's getting stuck. But I'm unwinding the mount for it that comes with the light. So this is the mount. See, it's a simple little quarter 20. Focus. Milo. Is it gonna focus? Come on, guy, you got it. I'm wanting. There we go. I'm like, as soon as I give up on it, it does it. Okay, so there we go. It's a quarter 20, right? And it just got the two magnets that correspond. So that's how easy it is. I put it on a magic arm or an articulating arm that's coming right off of the top part of my desk here, and quarter 20, and that's what's holding it up. And right now, the softbox is actually lighting this overhead shot, right? Nice. All right. Let me go ahead and put that back. And even though I have it set up as an overhead, it's still giving me a little bit of fill right now because I'm so close to it. All right, but let me go ahead and there we go. And put that back. Bam. You can see I've been modifying it, switching it around, and it's super easy and convenient. Obviously, I love magnets. That's why I have them all over my desk. You know, talking about it, the Ulanzi light, this little VL, what is it? VL49, right? Love this little light. What I did was I built the little grid for it that you can see has the magnets on it as well. So you're able to throw that on there. And then I took the light modifier that I made for it. Now that just adds that part together. And it makes it super convenient as well, because if I wanted to throw the other modifier on it, that's how simple it is, or the grid system for the light, just the same. So I have it all set up. Loving like my setup with my magnets. And this now, it just like it hits all of the like awesome points for me, right? Like it's functional, financially, like I think it's an amazing deal for what you're getting out of a $40 light, seeming that these little guys here run $30 to pay $10 more. You're getting something substantially better. It's not RGB, but it's not for that. And the most important thing, guys, it's a video light. That means it's not gonna flicker on no matter which camera that you're using. Doesn't matter. You're like good to go. It's a video light. Oh, Simply Tasha is in the house. She made it. Okay, and she says this is super cool. Looks like my next purchase. I think this is a really like a no-brainer. Hey, Preston also made it into the house. He's saying, "Yo, Gretchen." Gretchen says, "Order delivery tomorrow for the camera van." Yeah, it's ideal. Oh, somebody's poking at me. What's up, Aiden? Aiden is making a surprise visit into the live stream. He's being a little grumpy right now. I think he wants me to put him to bed. But you know I gotta finish the stream, buddy. You see him tap my eyes? He's literally telling me, Aiden, I'll put you to bed right now. Gotta hang out a little bit longer. That's his way of telling me, Dad, shut the, because you're loud and I want to go to sleep. Okay, so Jeremy says, awesome. Imagine, no, he's saying awesome to Gretchen. Can totally see these being super useful for travel. Yeah. The main idea was a friend of ours, Paul Heater, not Peter, Paul Heater, or, he's actually like in the Sahara Desert right now. He's like on this road trip in Africa, and he's been using Starlink to connect. We didn't see him today, but he's also like in a camper van, and he's doing all of this, like connecting, live streaming, and recording videos. That I said, this is what I think would be ideal for his setup. So it came across, and I purchased one just to see, and it's not only ideal for his setup but for mine, and I wouldn't have no issue recommending this light at all. at all whatsoever. I'm just surprised that, like, just from natural happenstance and just like what they've been able to provide, I've totally upgraded my setup now with all Ulanzi lights. Hey, Carlos is in the house saying, "Hey fam, love seeing these lights. Love these lights. Been seeing them for a few months now. Super convenient." That's the same thing with me. Like, I've seen them for a couple of months, and now I'm just like, I'm just beating myself up because I should have done it sooner. Says, can we all agree that magnets are awesome sauce? Absolutely, man. It's just something that I've always loved, and even as a kid, like, magnets is like actual magic to me, so to speak. And it was like blown out car speakers that I would just take the magnets off the back, those ring magnets, and I used to just always be like playing and experimenting with those things as a child. I loved taking things apart. And if you weren't here, was it last week? I think, yeah. Check out last week's live stream where we dissected a 30mm lens. Now, tell you the truth, I haven't put it back together. I've been busy, but I need to put that back together to see if I actually did something. Because update for you guys, I actually took the aperture ring and I saw what the issue was. Like, it kind of like overextended itself and then couldn't reset. So there is a possibility that, you know, putting it back to where it goes might reset it, or the circuits could just be fried. And if it is the PCB, then there's no fixing whatsoever. But we'll find out. Paul says, FYI, the little light we got at camp can be controlled by the app. Yes, but that's actually a different brand. That's a newer, right? That's not Ulanzi. Yeah, see, because this is the one that I got. So this one is being Bluetooth controlled, but this is a different brand. This is a newer brand. And you can see I also threw the magnet brackets so that the entire system can be shared amongst the different brands. It says bonus, it has an SOS setting. Very interesting. I didn't even know that, but it's funny that you mentioned that on these lights, because I was actually thinking with the orange, right? You can use that as kind of like something that you would stick on the back of your vehicle, like if you were in an emergency situation, just to be more visible, because the lights are super bright. Oh, Tasha was asking which light. Oh, well, let me show you. These are the ones that we got at camp. Let me go ahead and go to the overhead. Bam. We're gonna have the focusing issue again. Let me ignore it. You see, as soon as I ignore it, it focuses. Okay, I'm learning these OBS. So this is the newer, is the RGB62 is the model number, and it says it right there if it would focus. Yep, RGB62 model number, 5 volts, 1 amp, 6 watts. And that's actually the one that came with this little diffuser. But I put it on the system so I can share the diffuser. Whoa, we lost focus, or yeah, I got stuck on macro, so to speak. All right, bring it back down. Perfect. All right. So this was the actual light. If I can take it off of there. Am I doing it wrong? There we go. Yep. And these are the ones that we got on camp. They're really cool. Because, see, turn it on. Man, that's bright. Whew. Okay, yeah, that was at 50%. Let's bring that down. 1%, right? You can see kind of the grid. I don't know if that's actually translating, but to my eye, you can see the individual LEDs on the panel. And then with this, you kind of can't. Like, this little diffusion, just the little separation of distance makes a huge difference, and it softens the light a lot. But that's why, like I said, I made the grid system to have it work that way as well. Bam. Drill says definitely on the ads. I'm interested in their weight and their output. Exactly. Which is what I think if they would have like marketed that instead of it being like the ultimate thing, like just from the ads that I saw. But maybe that sells more in China, which is the, like the ads look like they were more towards that demographic. So Carlos says, right, Mr. Cameron, I use them a lot when plugged in, powerful little lights and the bicolor. Oh, so apparently you got them already. They're just super impressive right now. So, yep, that's the one that we're talking to Taisha. But Gretchen says, Bob just suggested using the lights for painting and photography. Honestly, it's just changed everything, and I've just had them like a couple of days. So as like my low light, like light when I put Aiden to sleep and I still need to work here, and like I put it on the top part at 1%, and it just gives this a gentle glow that it doesn't affect Aiden, so he's able to sleep and I'm able to turn off the monitors and use the Vision Pro easier because it can track my hands and everything a lot better. Man, it's just, I'm just so freaking like happy with it right now. That's all I can say. I'm just like super happy with it. Like I haven't been satisfied with a product like this satisfied with what I'm getting out of it in a long time. Right, because it's just doing so much. So even if it's like, let's say you're not even a content creator, I would even recommend this for anyone who's camping, right? Because it's just such a convenient light that if you needed to go to, the outhouse or anything during the night, this to me is would be even more convenient than a flashlight. It's just gonna light up the entire path and do so much more than a traditional light. And just holding it above your head will actually give you so much better visibility in those situations. It's not even funny because you won't have like the light is it light shield, right? The light barrier, right? Which your eyes would naturally have to go past. So it's convenient in so many factors. Says be careful when choosing light vendors. You're only buying into lights, but the ecosystem of the app control. Well, these, like I said, this was a little different. None of these lights were app controlled or ecosystem with the Ulanzi, so they're basically use them as you go. Because these lights have to be turned on or off manually, I have them set up to the little what are they called? They're just like the socket adapters, because what the ecosystem that I am using, FYI, to explain myself is oh my god, I'm running a blank. Govee, right? Is it Govee? Talk out of my ass. Yeah, the Govee home lights, right? So the Govee brand has these little just adapter plugs that are controlled through the same app. So these are controlled that way so that when I tell the Govees, hey, you know what? All the RGBs turn off, those get clicked off just the same way and they turn off. I have the ones like in the bathroom, and all of them are all set up that way so that if it's not something that I physically change to an RGB light for Govee and that it works off of its own system, I have it just plugged into one of those, so I have the turn on and off control using that application. So that's the way that I have them set up. Yep, he goes, I thought it was Ulanzi. No, no, no problem. But that's the whole thing. We're always like learning. And the thing is, you know, I'm not sure if Ulanzi has that feature built in because it's not something that I've come across. But these are just me also getting to more into the Ulanzi lights themselves. Ernesto's in the house saying what's up to me, saying happy Saturday to all. Sly saying, you're turning the not Tom Buck. Wait, let me read this right. Cause so Lewis, you're turning the not Tom Buck. Every time I watch you, I get gas. That's funny. Oh, so I'm turning into not the typo was there. So you're turning into the Tom Buck. Every time I watch, I get gas. Well, it's not gonna help, because another thing that I'm gonna do right now is talk to you about this other lens before we move on, right? So my secondary shot right here, this is me officially changing to the newer lens that I had mentioned last week, right? When I took apart and we did the dissection of the 30 millimeter lens, I said I officially replaced the 30 millimeter with the newer 27 millimeter f2.8, and this is it. So I took off my vintage lens, which I have in the background, which was my 28 millimeter f2.8, which was what I was rocking. So right now, this is the newer f2.8 27 millimeter on the Sony a6100, and I'm just like I'm actually blown away with how sharp this lens is. Like, if you're looking for tack sharp, and if you're saying photography, right, not so much video, then I'm gonna say look into this lens, because it surprised me with how sharp it is. It's so sharp that I set it, and then I was looking like hyper digitally like sharp, that I went into the camera and took off all of the sharpness that I can within the settings of the camera itself, and this is still the image that you're getting out of it. Like, that's how razor, like, scalpel sharp images we're getting out of this lens. I've even had to like stop it down. It's running at f4.5 right now, because it's emitting so much light that I actually think it's faster than 2.8, because it's all varies depending on manufacturer. So I would love to get like the T rating off of this lens, because I think it's gonna be a lot more light than the 2.8 that it's set up to be. So putting it into practice and setting it up here, I'm just like blown away with how sharp this lens is. And for $60, like an autofocus lens like this for $60, just we're getting to a place right now where like there is no excuses, even if you want to have a really nice setup and start content creation. Because maybe some of you haven't noticed, but I also picked up another piece which I just have to make a video about, because we're always talking about Amazon Basics, right? And how Amazon Basics is just garbage stuff that you wouldn't normally use. Well, it's not an Amazon Basics for brand, but just scrolling the pages of Amazon, I went and I just started looking for things that I might have already have, but just to see what was available. And one of the things that I put in was low profile microphone arm, right? So a low profile microphone arm is something that I purchased a year or two ago, right? And I bought one that was specific for my setup because of the way that I had things. And the key selling feature for me was that it had a headphone rest, right, on the mount that you would actually like attach it to the table, so to speak. And because of that is why I picked this iX Tech brand or whatever. And now I just saw that I wasn't using that at all. It was a feature that I had, but ever since I got into the 3D printing and started making this little peg wall behind me, I now have my headphones and cameras and all that stuff hung up there, that's no longer needed. So to kind of minimalize my setup, I said, let's see what's available to see if I can change and get an upgrade. And I picked up a microphone arm. Let me see if let me look up this information, because I have it on my computer, because I'm gonna get the name wrong and I don't want to do it. But let's see. Those cables. Oh, I didn't. Let me see. You know what? I'm gonna pull up my Amazon. We're gonna do it right on the spot, because I bought this low profile microphone arm Darko? Dacro. And it's spelled Daakro. And you know what? I'm clicking onto it. Just I'm gonna throw the link in the chat right now as well. Guys, this is a $15 low profile microphone boom arm. So let me go ahead and change the shots over here so you can take a look at it. Okay. Fully modular. And if you can see, the microphone that I've been using tonight is the heaviest microphone because I'm putting this through its paces. And let me go back to that so I can close out that window. Right now, it's being sold for $12.49 at 17% discount because normally it's $14.99. So $14.99, and I even remember not too long ago, even up to like $18, $20, you'd be paying for the spring-loaded like microphone arms. Right? That's what you'd be paying for. You'd be paying for the spring-loaded, the basics, right? The Amazon Basics boom arm. And not only like it was just like as soon as you see it, you knew that it was the basic boom arm. This is an all metal construction. I'm just blown away with how inexpensive things have gotten. Where it states on the Amazon site that it holds up to 4 pounds consistently, and I was like, okay, that means it should hold my SM7B without problem. But you know what? My pod mic, which is what I'm rocking tonight, is actually heavier than my SM7B. So let's put it through the ringer, right? I'm gonna give it my like heaviest mic, and you know, it's pretty much extended to the way that I would want it, and I'm just super impressed with what you can get nowadays. So, you know, a $15, you know, microphone arm that looks amazing, and I don't see where this has a critical point of failure, right? I'm gonna put it through its paces, but as of right now, this is an amazing buy, especially if you are willing to spend, you know, $15 on the other cheap Amazon Basic microphone arm, a $40 light that's made for video. If you go with the OBSBot cameras, right? So let me go back to it. Oh, I don't think I set that up. I didn't set that one up. But if you use one of these OBSBot cameras, like I showed you guys a couple of weeks ago, these go for $120. And if you do the 1080, like the one that I have for my overhead, that's also a $80 camera or a $70 camera. So like honestly, you can be up and running and completely set up with microphone, you know, and things that will last the test of time, so to speak, and allow you to get started honestly for about a $500 budget, which is unheard of because I remember the days where $500 was just spent on just your camera, right? And people were like, what can I get a camera for just $500? And that was hard enough to be able to give someone a really good recommendation. But now, like moving away from your cell phone and just making a dedicated at home, you know, like let's just say I want to upgrade my presentation online so that I can interview better for Zoom meetings for jobs that I'm looking for. There's so many things that having a good live stream setup are going to help you out in your everyday day to day, especially with the way that technology is moving nowadays, right? Like everything is a Zoom meeting. We no longer even talk about Skype. right? Because just the word Zoom is synonymous with an online, like interaction, camera, face to face meeting, as synonymous as looking anything up. We just say it's Google it, right? Even though there's plenty of search engines, when you go to search something, you just say, I just need to Google that. And that's because, the action of searching on a search engine is synonymous with the word Google. And that's what I think is happening right now with this. So it's just amazing at the point that we are with technology. And I just can't wait to see what all of you guys create with this, because $500 and have an actual setup is just amazing to me. So there's literally no excuses nowadays. um there really isn't. It's just get to it. And like the motto for the year is no excuses, just results. Hopefully this inspires you just a little bit to get yourself out there and get started. Like I said, even if it's just upgrading a Zoom setup to actually then creating your first piece of content, leading you on this amazing content creation journey. So that's that. Let me go ahead and check the chat before we get into cities call. Thank you, thank you. Randy says he just ordered the boom arm. $12 is like, I paid more for Chipotle, man, than 12.49. Like, and this thing is so sturdy. I'm just like so amazed with it so far. Oh, Taisha said the same thing. That's good. It's gonna be worth it. Oh, and Nestor says he bought his meat too for $100 at Black Friday at Amazon. You see, that's a great deal. It says, unfortunately, because of security, we use Teams to meet instead of Zoom. Oh, but it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just to that point. But, it's always been that way, right? Like when it comes to commerce, right? And point to point or point of sale systems, they usually run on Windows based machines and platforms. You know, Apple is now getting into that, but mostly because they're doing their own banking with their Apple cards and things like that. So, but they're catching up because their infrastructures and their security, which is the most important thing, is really catching up leaps and bounds. But that's a whole another nerdy conversation. So before we get into that, let's go right to it. It is time for Cities God, channels that I think you should go and watch. And let me make sure that I don't have any other open windows so it doesn't get funky. All right. Gotta make sure. Yep. Okay. So go back to it and then we'll hit this. There we go. Yes. Perfect. So this week we have Alex Sarfati, and the reason why I don't have his pronunciation done exactly is because I am newly subscribed to this channel. So a little bit of insider information. I've been looking at, cameras, right? No surprise. But one of the cameras that I've actually been looking at, which has my interest because it's an older camera and it has a lot of features that we'd still be able to use today in cinematography, is the Sony FS7. But now, to not go into that thing is where it led me to Mr. Alex here, because the video that we have directly on it is something that just came out 4 days ago, and 4 days ago is how long I've been subscribed to his channel. So I really don't know much about him, but I wanted to bring this up because of two things. He seems like to have a great channel, and I was really impressed with the first video that I saw of his. And second, he's a camera junkie, and right off the bat says learn filmmaking. I'm like, this is my type of dude. But the video that he made was almost made for me, because as I'm looking for this camera, he pops out with this video, says 6 cheap cinema cameras that are actually good in like 2025, and the first one on the list, is the FS7, which is why it hit my algorithm. So that's how I found this individual, and as you can see, he's got quite a good amount of breakdowns when it comes to shooting video and filmmaking and cinematography. So I'm going to be diving a little bit deeper into his content, but I wanted to also present this to you as well as this week's Cities God channels that I think you should go and watch. None other than Mr. Alex Zafarti, right? And let me make sure I'm saying that right. Sarfati. Alex Sarfati. So let me rewind that. This week's City's God, none other than Mr. Alex Sarfati. This week's channels that I think you should go and watch. And we did it. Bam, bam. We hit those buttons and we're back. And as always, guys, we've done it. We've completed episode 223. So that's 223 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream. And as always, I gotta thank every single one of you who make this my favorite place to be. So if you're not subscribed already, do so. Make sure you hit the like button right now before we forget, because we're signing off until next week. But you can mark it down on your calendars. There is going to be a time change happening tonight, but it's still going to happen at the same time no matter what the calendar or the clock says. So next week, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Mr. Camera Junkie YouTube channel, we'll be doing episode 224, and I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces right here as we do it all over again. So until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you guys next time. Talk to you.